Hi everyone, I'm Sunny and today's pick a card is going to be about why did they act like that. So I have three piles you can choose from left to right. I have pile 1, 2, and 3. So remember, if you need more time, you're more than welcome to pause the video and then select the pile or piles of your choice when you're ready. So with that being said, I will start with pile number 1. So pile number 1, you guys have the 7 of Pentacles upright, the 5 of Cups reversed, and the Chariot card upright. Oops, sorry. There, it's more or less straight. So whoever you're thinking about, pile number 1, I think they were someone that was probably busy when you saw them because of the pentacle energy. It's like they were working on something, they were at work, or they were working sorry, I'm trying to speak lower. Mostly because I feel that my voice has been hoarse and I thought it wasn't going to be that bad, but I can hear myself cracking early on. So I apologize, pile 1. But they could have been also working. Like if you saw them, let's say you were driving by, you were on your bike, you were walking your dog, you were the train was passing by close by their house. I think that you probably saw them outside. They were working on their garden, they were mowing their grass, for example. I think they were doing something laborious that I don't necessarily think they were looking. Sorry, I was gonna burp. Yeah, sorry about that. So, I think for you, pal 1, this person was someone that was busy in the sense of they were so like they, not that they had tunnel vision. I mean, it could be, but they were so drawn in on their specific activity that they were doing that I don't necessarily think that they were focusing on you, or they might have not even noticed you. I mean, I'm sure they saw, like they could feel out their environment of like, oh, there's someone close by, or like someone's watching me or something, but they're not really focusing on that. I think that they were just entranced by their labor. Like they were like in this rhythm that they're not really like, they lost track. It feels like they lost track of time, for example, and they're just like, oh, like it just feels like that. When I feel like this is kind of like a patient card, so I feel like that's why I'm like time. There's something about time being relevant to this pile, that this person likes to do things and they take their time, or they lose sense of time because they're so engulfed in whatever they're doing. So I think that this person might have acted whatever way that you thought, like, oh, they were being dismissive, oh, they didn't notice me. Like it could have been a friend and you could have waved, but they didn't notice you, not maybe necessarily because they were upset, but rather they're so entertained by their specific activity that they needed to do, their responsibility. And I also think it could have been at work, or if you're thinking like, oh, it's like a university friend or something, like they were focused on studying, or they were in class, or they were walking to, I don't necessarily think they're walking to class. I feel like maybe if anything they were standing close. I don't miss those days. They could have been standing next to the classroom. Sometimes it depends, I think. To me it was like 50-50. Sometimes I could wait inside the classroom, or sometimes we couldn't because there was class, or there's other classrooms where you're standing outside and you can't go in until the professor comes in, right? So it could be one of those things where like they were probably waiting outside in the classroom, they were looking at their phone, or just kind of waiting for class to start. Were they looking at you? No. They're kind of in this like, I think they were exhausted, I think they're tired. But yeah, I just think this person is someone who's like they were not focusing on you. They're not even focusing on their environment too much. Like they can hear the background noise, but it's just background noise to them. They're not really focused on that. And with this 5 of Pentacles, 5, why did I say 5? It is 5, but not Pentacles, it's Cups. Sorry, I was looking at the Pentacle on the left side. With this 5 of Cups in the middle, I think that they were, I don't think they're purposely trying to maybe look at the past. Like if you're thinking, like if you were a friend, I just think like if you were a friend, or if you showed interest, right, in this person before, like you guys could have had crushes on each other or something. Maybe they could have also kind of picked up on the fact that you were close by, but they weren't purposely trying to look at you. Like they're just trying to move on. They're trying to focus on what they're doing, like their present too. It's like they're not looking at the past. They're not trying to stir up emotions. They're very much involved with like, I need to be serious. I need to settle down, be more grounded. So yeah, I just keep thinking of that vibe. It's like they're on their own. Like they acted like that because not that they were ditzy in their own world. Sorry, they were just doing their own things to be caring about you, right? Let's say. The Chariot card upright. I feel like there was movement when it comes to goals. That's the kind of thing I pick up on this. Like, maybe I should take some water for this because I feel like I'm sounding hoarse already. So, sorry, Paula. I'm trying not to sound so hoarse. I'm trying to speak more clearly and slow and lower. So I think for you, with this Chariot card upright, I feel like they were probably focused on a goal that maybe you guys could have gone different paths, for example. Like, it's not necessarily you stop seeing each other. I just think there's more, it's not distance necessarily by always like location. It's distance, maybe it's like emotional distance or something, especially because of the cup energy there. I think that this is like distance with, it's like distance with a purpose. Like it could have been a purposeful distance. But yeah, I just think that, and it could be from both parties, right? You could have also felt awkward. It's not always like just them. If you feel like, oh, there was history there, or like something that never came about, or like someone was rejected, or someone was like ignored. I feel like there's also like someone, I think you both could have tried to ignore each other and just kind of pass by towards like, for example, if you guys, I just keep thinking that like, I imagine you guys having to be in the same building and you try your best, like you notice, maybe one notices more than the other person. Maybe it could have been you, that you notice more, right, that they're there and you're trying to see if they're gonna notice you, but then you realize quickly, I don't think it takes that long to make a judgment, that they're really not going to notice you, so you like walk past them as fast as you can because you're like, I got things to do too. Like maybe it's that you were let down, that you thought they could still be hung up on you or like show interest in you, or like you wanted a reaction, I think, or you wanted like a more like emotional reaction, like not like soap opera, that type of thing, but you wanted to know that they maybe cared about you still or something. And I just feel like they were doing their own thing, moving on, like they're just like not, I think they've moved on, and you're just like, okay, cool. Like I don't think you're like super sad about it. I just think that maybe it might have hurt your pride a bit, and that's why I keep thinking of the Chariot. It's like movement, but not like movement like fast. It's like you were headed towards the direction, you had a purpose, and you just caught a glimpse of each other, right? You had business in that building, in the classroom or something, or close by, and you're just like, oh, okay, I see how things are. So I'm hoping I stop sounding hoarse. So I just think, they successfully moved on. Even with the Chariot card, I still feel like you have a goal and you're achieving it, or you're moving towards it. So I also think like maybe it was both of you guys. Sorry. Maybe it was both of you guys who tried to move on and like move forward with your life, right? But this is what happened. So thank you, pile number 1. Oops. Pile number 2. You guys have the 5 of Pentacles reversed, 8 of Wands upright, 7 of Cups reversed. Let me slide these cards over here. Okay, pile number 2. Why did they act like that? So I'm fixing up the cards. I got distracted, sorry. So pile number 2, I think you noticed that this person was focusing, not, they were focusing on something else, but not you. I keep, sorry, I have to clear my throat pretty often. Because I think they were like, so they're past a moment, like I think they were someone who, I don't know if you met them in a difficult moment of their life or your life, or they've been in a, like, not a downpour, but like a bad moment of luck, I guess, of like turbulence or challenge, and you met them in a time where maybe it wasn't easy to talk to them or approach them, or like it was limited time, because I think that they were maybe like going through some stuff. And I know it's reversed, right? I know the Five of Pentacles is reversed, but I'm talking about past for some people. So now that they're no longer in this space, because they're finally able to move on, they got their finances in accordance, or they put it together. And then it could be also that they finally have good footing. They feel like they're more solid, more grounded, like they're not full of chaos. Like, I think they had to, it's not suffering in the sense like they're in pain. It's like they're going through they were going through very slow movement, and they didn't see easy progress, so it made them feel like they were maybe drowning in debt or something, or maybe they felt like they were being ignored and not helped by people, or they felt like they were, I just keep thinking of finances here, they were living paycheck by paycheck, and maybe it was because of those things that happened. Like, I just feel like because of unforeseen things or things that they might have not planned accordingly for, or like to this extent maybe, right? I feel that maybe you didn't get to see them as often. So I just feel like there was like a wall. There was like a wall between you guys, like maybe it's like an ice wall, like an emotional wall, mental block. I think it could also be physical one, because it is also pentacle energy, should be tangible. So yes, it's reversed, but it should be something that, because you feel alienated or left outside, right, of something, or left outside of your group too, for example, of this connection, right? They purposefully, like, they didn't corner you. I just feel like they purposely like left you in the corner, like, we're not talking, right? So it just feels like that they decided to take higher ground by basically moving on from you, or like limiting contact with you, or not seeing you. Like, there's something about like they feel like maybe you weren't there for them, or you didn't care enough, or maybe they were kind of focusing on their own things, that if you had some sort of connection with them, it doesn't always have to be romantic, but it could even be as a friend, or a colleague, right? I think that they know that they had to move past that and focus on themselves, and like not feel like they had to depend on others to help them move on. Like, for example, if they lost their job, and they're like, oh hey, like, can you help me get in contact with this person so I can see if like there's positions available or something, but you never got back to them. Maybe they realize like, okay, so no one's gonna help me, you know, with like, and it just, I don't feel necessarily it was just you. I just feel like it's an example of like, this is a way it could play out where they might have asked for assistance, and I felt like maybe they were ignored, or maybe they didn't receive the help that they wanted, or at least not from the people they trusted. So they're like, okay, I guess I have to do this all by myself the hard way. And so it's more like they ended up relying on themselves more than they realized, and they maybe figured out who their true friends were, or how their people's true colors were, and that's why they became more isolated and distant, but also more independent. It was something fast. I think like Eight of Wands is also something that is fast, and it was like either this happened fast or they got their ish together pretty fast. They became very realistic. The Seven of Cups reversed. I just feel like that's why I'm thinking this is the vibe of like they had possibilities of things happening, or dreams that like, oh, maybe like they can help me out. Like sometimes it's like that with people. Like some people can help you out, get jobs easier. Not saying it has to do with what's it called, nepotism or anything like that, but sometimes getting in touch with people, feeling out the vibes of like, okay, apply and see if you make it down to the interviews and stuff like that. Sometimes that can help, right? Or put in a good word, right? Be the, not the recommender, it's not even a word, not the suggestion, what's the referral, right? Be the referrals, right? Stuff like that. And they realize like, oh, I have to kind of be more, not grounded. Sometimes it can be like that, but it's like stick to one thing. It's like cutting down, like being realistic about like, okay, this is just never gonna happen, or like your dreams of fulfilling this is just limiting. Like choose the best one or two choices and try to see which one's the best avenue. So it's like they became more I can't think of a better word other than to say just more realistic. There should be another word, but I think they limited their dreams. Like I just feel like they were disappointed. Like something just didn't fulfill them, I think. Maybe it could have been the aid they sought out and they didn't receive it, and they're like, okay, well, I guess I have to look for a different path to open myself. Or if, like, for example, they are the person who tried their best to invest in their dreams, for example, because there was so much to choose from. Like, imagine like a young person having the quote unquote the world is their oyster mentality, because that's what everybody always tells you when you're young, right? And sometimes having too much options doesn't help you narrow down what really inspires you and, you know, drives you. And sometimes when you realize things, it can be a little too late. So maybe this person ended up taking too long to, you know, settle down with something, and that's why they went through a rough patch, and that they acted the way they acted with you, because these are the kind of things that started happening in their life. It's like, because I'm low on funds, because I lost my job, because I'm going through a rough patch, or because I feel like I'm being ignored. Sorry, my throat is going bad again. They feel like they had to kind of ice people out, and you were one of them. So maybe it could have been a personal choice, but I feel that they definitely did it for the sake of getting more grounded, not wasting time, and like not wasting money on like things that could wait for later, or could just be like a loss of money. It's like maybe always hanging out with people isn't always what's gonna help you save up for a rainy day, right? So yeah, I think they suddenly had to change, because I think they just had this change of perspective and became more grounded and like realistic and a little bit more dry. I think it's like they became more Capricorny. You know, there's nothing wrong with you Capricorns, but unfortunately sometimes whatever age you end up being a Capricorn, and mostly towards the younger years, I think you become very stoic, because it's like things happen and you're like, well, I have to step up. You feel like you have to be the person to step up, or people keep pushing you to be the expectation they set out for you, and so you feel like, I have to live up to that expectation, and it just kind of keeps going up and up and up every single time. It's like, whoa, you suddenly become so structured and serious that it's a little hard to feel you out. in that sense. So that's what happened with this pile number 2. Hope that kind of gave you some insight on that, like why they started acting the way they started acting out. Next, pile number 3. Okay, you guys have the sorry, my voice is cracking up. 3 of Wands. Let me take some water. Three of Wands upright, the 9 of Swords upright, and the Hierophant upright. So pile number 3, why did they act like that? I think maybe they were given bad advice. I keep kind of feeling that vibe here. Or like they chose to listen to the wrong crowd, wrong person. Maybe she or why did I feel like I had to say she? But it could have been a she. Someone here, sorry. My voice is just giving out. Someone here is probably being led. They were led in the wrong direction. They were probably sabotaged, maybe. I just keep thinking they were given bad advice, or at least they listened to the wrong person, and now they're like feeling like overwhelmed. But yeah, they acted like that because of that. Like this one feels so much more direct compared, not to the previous ones. Like the previous ones were still direct, but I feel like they were, it feels like there were things that were a little bit more, maybe like emotional. And I feel for this one it's more like they, like someone needed to take action on something, and it could have been them, but they listened to the wrong person, and now they're like, oof, now I'm kind of stuck with this. Like it's much more like analyzing, but also doing things. It's very like critical, I think, for this pile. But yeah, I just think like, look, there's somehow like, maybe for example they were looking at the big picture, the Three of Wands and the Hierophant. It's like they were trying to not go above and beyond, but I just think they were trying to get as much, like take positions for as much as they could when it comes to bigger things, right? But they missed the point of looking at the smaller details that they needed to focus on, and that's where they kind of messed up, I feel. It's like, oof, I didn't think about this. Like I thought about like, oh, this is like what I want, but I didn't think about how I got there or how I should get there quite good, or at least how I should have thought about it. And so they're now feeling stressed because it's like I feel like they're overthinking something they did, or something that should have been done differently, because they needed to take action on something, but they were looking at the broader perspective. It's like bird's eye view rather than looking at it from the underside. They should have thought about it something different, like from a different perspective, or more detailed, or more like smaller. They should have gone smaller, not bigger. Because I think of that with the Hierophant. It's like they went big. It's like they committed to something big, and they're stressing out. So it's like, for example, like for some people it can be an investment when it comes to higher knowledge. Maybe they invested in, like, for example, some people could have gone to university, but they went back to university, right? Or some sort of education, right? But they didn't realize how much work it was going to be, or how much maybe money it was, or it's going to be, or how much commitment, right? It's a lot of commitment, and it's stressful and draining. So they're like, oh great, now I have to stick with it, or I'm suffering the consequences of like not thinking this through, or like I fell out of love with this, but I'm stuck with it because I paid, right? So they're kind of like, I made the commitment, I have to stick with it. it feels like that. Maybe they're trying to get out of something they committed to because they don't like it. Or maybe if you think of it in a romantic sense, because it's not always like that. Sometimes it could be like they were fighting with their mind of like, I'm trying to be logical and I should stick with this, but somehow their heart and their mind were at opposites, right? Their loins were at opposites, and they were led astray because there's also theory wants, like the possibility was there of like thinking of somebody. It's not always taking action, but they might have thought about somebody else, and they maybe went through it, and they're feeling overwhelmed and the anguish because they're in a committed relationship where they messed up, or maybe they want out but they can't because, you know, sometimes there's more than just you involved, which is like common assets or having kids or stuff like that. Or maybe they genuinely feel bad because they thought it would be interesting or different, and it turns out it was like a momentary like high feeling of like, oh, this is over, and like now the guilt is setting in, right? But truthfully, it's like that ain't bad. Like, I feel bad for the other person if that's the case. So I think that they acted like that because of that. It's like they were listening to the wrong part of their body when they should have been listening to the mind, right? The rational part. And they should have talked and communicated things with their partner if that was the case. Or the person of interest, right? I just think that maybe they were married, or they could have been married to you, right? But yeah, I just feel like this person was led astray by bad advice, bad choices, and they're suffering the consequences of like their actions. It's like, man, I didn't think this through like that well. Like, I could have taken more time to really be okay with my decision, and I'm not happy with it. Or they need to take action, but they're not doing anything about it because they made a commitment. It's like they made a commitment to something else, to a higher voice, right? Whether it's a partner or an education or philosophy too, right? It could also be like you're wanting to explore different they like this person, why they acted like that, they wanted to explore maybe different philosophies or viewpoints, and it's difficult for them because it's like maybe going against whatever they were taught, so they're going through inner turmoil. So it's them having to take a change, having to take a step forward. That's kind of scary, or like that feels like I'm going against something or I'm hurting somebody else, and they're feeling guilty about it. Sometimes it's not always like, oh, this person led me astray because they're cheating. It's not always like that. There's so many scenarios that could happen. But it could be like a philosophy thing, when it comes to them needing to take action or in exploring maybe feels difficult for them. Like maybe exploring the path between religion and spirituality, or the lack thereof, is very difficult for them. It's like the transition, that they need to eventually make a choice. Maybe not right now, but that's something that needs to happen. But yeah, they acted like that because it's like their heart and mind are in, and their actions are in a very different place. It's like nothing is connected. Everything keeps being separated, rather than eventually getting them all to marry and see each other a little bit more halfway. But yeah, they need to integrate and marry different parts of themselves, whether it's the good and the bad, or things that need to take action, like their mind and their soul, their mind and heart, mind and body. But yeah, that's why they acted like that, just to give you that kind of like a feel for that pile number 3. So I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. It helps me out with my channel, and I'll see you in a different video. So bye everybody.